I've been married to my wife for a little over a year now. Before marriage, we dated for about 3 years and everything seemed perfect. But a month into our marriage, everything changed. My wife started acting completely different out of nowhere. She stopped wanting to have sex. She doesn't want to sleep in the same bed together. She doesn't even want to get dressed in front of each other. It's crazy and confusing. I should have mentioned earlier that my wife went through a lot as a child as she was molested by a very close family member. We spoke about this when we first started dating and the effects never showed up then. So I'm not sure if that plays a part in what's going on now or if something else is going on. I don't know what to do. Can you please help?
I believe that your wife is suffering from PTSD, which isn't uncommon for people who are victims of incest or have been molested by a close family member. What you would normally see happen is during that courtship phase where y'all are just in relationships, the effects really don't show up. But something happens on the day that you get married that changes the dynamic of your relationship. And that's that you become family members, right? You now become her family member by becoming her husband. And that triggers that emotion or that time in their childhood when they were violated by a family member. So what I suggest you do is to go seek somebody that specializes in this, whether it's an individual therapist for her to work on her PTSD on her own, but to also seek a marriage therapist.
I'm gonna give you a completely different perspective, big dog. As a person that's been married for over 19 years, going into my 20th year, I'm only 41 years old, which means that I got married at 22, and I've actually counseled, mentored, and coached thousands of people. Overwhelming majority of them are men. And I will tell you that a lot of guys overlook the signs that come along with what infidelity looks like or what being disconnected looks like as far as a woman then using you or utilizing the fact that they have that safety net of you, but is not connected to you. So the first thing that I would do if I were you is I would get suspicious and I would stop ignoring the signs. So many guys, listen, I'm just trying to tell you, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I got a flight to catch. I'm about to head over to Delta, DTW, and then fly down to Tampa. But let me tell you one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. So many guys overlook the signs. And the first red flag that I seen in this whole little conversation is he started making excuses for her based off of something that she shared with him before they even got married as to why it is that she's disconnected. When she was never disconnected during the 3 years that she had to be on her P's and Q's before she then was able to get the marriage vows. So you saying you've only been married for a year. Think about this for a minute, y'all. They dated for 3 years. 3 years. Which means that it's a strong possibility he was busting that down and all of this other type of stuff the entire time, right? Shared their deepest, darkest secrets, was connected. She had to stay on her P's and Q's because eventually she wanted him to put that ring on it, right? Because most people don't even understand what marriage is. And so as a result, they then lean into this this Disney World fantasy of this happily ever after situationship, right? And she was on her P's and Q's for 3 years. She never exhibited any kind of problems, but you telling me the fact that he took a vow at the altar and then a month later, a whole month later, just 1 month later, after they got married, she didn't want him to touch him anymore. All of a sudden, she didn't want to get dressed in front. She didn't want to get dressed in front of him. Yo, fam, these are not signs of PTSD based off of something that happened in her childhood or anything like that. I'm telling you my own professional opinion. These are signs that she probably had a situationship. And you got to remember, when you date, and it's not necessarily exclusive just because you may believe so. And that's why I'm telling y'all that it's a difference between being married and being single. It's no in between. Because it's nothing that's stopping her from then being available to whoever it was that she was around, even though you may have thought that she was the only one. It's just that women cheat a little bit differently. And so it's only really one of two options, in my opinion, based off of the fact that I think that too many guys ignore the signs. The first thing is this. It's probably somebody that is still got her heart, or she may have had some sort of regret, or she's still going through with it because you're the safe option, but it's still somebody that got that real heart on her, that got that, I like to call it the Jacob effect. I think it's Jacob, right? Whichever the wolf was, right? The wolf was the one in Twilight that had imprinted on her. It's a guy that has imprinted on her, and it's a strong possibility he's still keeping in touch with her, or some kind of connection on social media or something like that, and he still got her heart. The second thing is she just flat out cheating, and you probably need to check her phone. Or you probably don't even need to check her phone, because if y'all don't have children and y'all only been married for a year, you need to go ahead and get up out of that. Because if you've been sexless, or you've been in a situationship to where you've been expressing these concerns and she hasn't even taken any initiative, and more importantly, she's still, and it's going to get exponentially worse as time goes on. And then you're going to introduce other things into it to where it makes it even more complicated for you to then have to walk away. And if you do not have kids, hear me out. If you do not have kids, then you need to go ahead and distance yourself, because the more you enable this bad behavior, the worse that it's going to get. And she's not going to leave the situation alone. She then going to be calling into somebody's show like Angela Yee or something like that, talking about she got a confession. You're going to be questioning whether or not your kids is even yours. You're going to be giving up an egregious amount of money in child support. And, it's just going to get more and more complicated. And I hate to say this, but again, I've seen too many situations where guys have ignored the signs. I've told them, I said, listen, pay attention to this. That ain't right. Women don't move like that based off of this. And then guys usually make excuses. And this is why you got to stop listening to people like this that may not, I don't know what their life experience is. I've never actually saw their stuff. You guys have sent me this clip. I'm going to try to credit them by actually redirecting y'all back over into their page to make sure that y'all can, check out their stuff or whatever, because I like to give creators visibility whenever it is and I'm reacting to the content and things like that. But y'all got to stop listening to these people it looks like he's pandering, or he just don't know what he's talking about. And everybody don't got the solution, Sway. Everybody don't know, Sway. And this guy, he may be in a relationship with this woman, and they may have started this podcast together, but he don't know. And all it is, hey, you may need to go in and embrace her and hold her and make sure that you get her some therapy and then work on yourself. Man, that's too much work too early in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You just got married and you already ain't getting no box. What you think? You gonna bully her into getting some box just because it's there? Yo, she gotta wanna be there. A woman in a relationship has to want to be there. She's gonna make every sacrifice in the world when you first meet her in order to put her best foot forward and give it an impression. And you telling me that all of a sudden she don't want to get dressed in front of you over the last 11 months and y'all only been married for a year, and you concerned and you reaching back into her past and trying to understand her. You more concerned with her than she is of herself. You've expressed this. This ain't the first time. This is visible. This ain't something that just popped up yesterday and then she trying to deal with it, or she having a moment and you need to let her chill out for a day or two. This has been happening over 11 months and you ignoring the signs, and you telling me that she not putting in the same amount of effort or more this early in a relationship. Relationships, marriages are supposed to be blissful, especially prior to having kids. If she ain't even changed before having kids, what you think that this gonna look like after y'all then have a child together, or y'all have two munchkins together running around? It's gonna be a complete disconnect. It's gonna be a complete disaster. Cut your losses before you even continue to get into it. Don't sit here and listen to women giving you advice. I know it'd be a lot of women in these comments talking about this is concerning, or what's going. Man, don't care nothing about that. You have to make sure that you do what is best for you, and more importantly, do not ruin your future by continuing to embrace this bad behavior or this bad advice from a lot of these people that's telling you to endure through it. Marriages are not there to be endured through. They're there to be enjoyed, based off of the fact that you have two people that are equally yoked coming together to continue to build up to something greater than what they would have been had they been by themselves. And if you don't have that, then you shouldn't have got married in the first place, and you should not have even ignored the signs. Cut your losses, get up out of there. And if she don't want to do the thing that's best for her, then let her go. Let her go. That's my advice, but I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. Make sure y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, get that Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out of here. I'm about to catch my flight. This is crazy, bro.